I'm joined by our sexpert, Dorothy Black, and we're going to be talking about a website that's become quite popular, but not for very good reasons. Welcome to the studio, Dorothy.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hey. We're going to talk about she'sahomewrecker.com.
Right.
What is this?
Well, it's a website where disgruntled victims of cheating can go and post their the other woman's pictures onto the site and basically slag her off. And then other women who are part of the site can then comment on what a terrible hoe she is and how horrible she looks and how the woman is better off without the guy. So basically it is a huge site for bullies, basically. And the women whose photos are put up there have no control over their photos being put up there. So it's without their consent, it's probably without their knowledge to begin with, and then they're just slated on the site.
Is that legal?
I'm assuming it is legal. They've got a stupid little disclaimer that likes to pretend that this is satire and gossip, and even goes so far as to say that a lot of the information is probably incorrect and not factual and just a lot of assumption. Jeez. And that the viewer or the reader needs to make up their own mind about whether it's real information or not. So I think that's how they cover themselves. And I love how a lot of sites cover themselves with, it's just gossip or satire. We're just, poking fun at people. But the people who are contributing to these websites are clearly very involved and very invested. And these are people's names and addresses and faces being put up on a site.
And it's not just poking fun, is it?
No, oh my God, it's not poking fun at all. It's totally mean. And it's just really sad for me to see women be so mean to each other, even though, I understand that affairs are awful and the sense of betrayal is terrible, but there were two people involved in the affair, and it wasn't just the other woman.
Can you tell me, you mentioned that the post, it contains photos, addresses, comments. Where do they get these photos from? Is it just, are they acquiring the photos online? So
basically they then, from what I can make out, is that they then Facebook stalk. So they find out who the woman is, and then they go to her Facebook page and they download all the photos. They'll either take it from Facebook, or they'll take it from her Twitter account, or her husband's phone or email, stuff that's been sent through. But it seems like mostly Facebook accounts.
It just seems like very catty and childish.
It is. I think it's, I think when you're cheated on, when you go through that sense of betrayal and anger, it kind of expresses itself. This is one way of acting out. It's one way to lash out at the person that you feel was responsible for the breakdown of your marriage. And it's easier to lash out at a stranger than it is to actually A, take responsibility for your marriage, and B, lash out at the person who hurt you the most, which is your husband. And I think when we villainize the other woman, we forget that there was a husband involved, and he also lied and cheated. And so I think that's where it comes from. It's very catty, it's very hurt, and it just takes on other dimensions of real bullying, which you don't want to monitor the internet, but I just feel like sites like this should be taken down ASAP.
Well, this could ruin someone's life, career, everything. Employers do Google searches on you.
Right, and I think the owner of the website even seems to pat herself on the back about it. She's like, this will be on the internet forever and ever, and you'll be able to be Googled about this. And I just feel that is, it's so unkind, and it's so petty and so lacking in insight of just how this could ruin someone's life, on what could just have been a mistake, Because when we are angry and upset, our emotions just blow everything completely out of proportion.
Do you think the husbands should be named and shamed?
Well, she's now included he's a home the wrecker.
Oh, okay, so everyone can be involved.
So everyone can be involved, except obviously the wife. She gets to stay pretty anonymous. So I see a lot of people actually add their Facebook comments that goes with their names and their profiles. But should men? No, for the same reason that women shouldn't. The triangle of an affair, it's so personal, and it's such a personal tragedy in the family that needs to be dealt with. And it's not that it shouldn't be spoken about and it shouldn't be dealt with. But mudslinging and blaming and bullying online of either people, of either the other woman or the husband involved, doesn't solve anything.
It's not going to fix anything.
Right. It doesn't start dialogue. It stops it immediately by being quite attacking. And it doesn't come to any kind of solutions or any kind of answers about why it happened. And I think sometimes when we get so angry about something, we act out like this, we stop the why because we don't want to take any responsibility. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of women that are putting these pictures on the site and like really slagging off the other women or their ex-husbands about it. Because there is, you know, if you're in a relationship and your husband is cheating on you or your boyfriend's cheating on you, you're not completely uninvolved in that. It takes two to make a relationship and it takes two to break one.
And what about men who are cheating on their wives? I know I asked you, do you think they should be named and shamed? Do you think they will be named and shamed? I know there is a He's a Homewrecker page. Will the wives use them? Well,
the wives are using them now to place the pictures of their exes. So they'll put their ex-husbands up there and slake them off about, you know, what terrible husbands they are and how they cheated on them. There are a few men, which I'm quite surprised by, a few men who have posted the cheaters, their wives. What's the other woman? The other man?
Okay.
Right, so the husbands have posted photos of the other man.
So it's going both ways.
It's going both ways. And I think that's because when we're angry and we're betrayed, we want to lash out at someone. And it's easier to lash out at the, you know, the black sheep, the person who's being terrible. So will they be named and shamed? Yes, absolutely. I think they will. Is it fair? I don't think it's any more or less fair than the woman.
And with the rise of social media, everyone's always on the internet now. It seems we're doing everything online.
Right.
Do you think websites like these are going to become more and more popular?
Right, I think so. You know, there's websites like these. We've had terrible Twitter accounts. There was Slut Spotter a while back where people were able to send photos of their ex-girlfriends, and then this anonymous Twitter account would post them up, and then people could say mean things about it. There's a whole revenge site, I forget the name now, and I'm glad because I don't want to promote it, of a guy who set up a website so that men could send in photos of their ex-girlfriends and badmouth them, also with names, addresses. So I think this is definitely a trend, and I think drawing a distinction between, you know, what's happening in real life and what's happening online, we need to get rid of that as well, because this will affect the women online as it affects them in real life and vice versa.
I don't think people kind of make the parallel, like they think this isn't real life and this isn't going to
so they can say whatever they want.
But it is very much real life.
Well, we're having kids who are killing themselves because they're being bullied online. We need to really snap to very quickly how dangerous and damaging these sorts of sites are.
The founder of the site, her name is Ariella Alexander. She said, I'm hoping that this site will make women think twice before involving themselves in someone else's relationship. Do you think it's going to serve that purpose?
Not at all. I think when I read that, I was thinking, you know, that's probably about as useful as putting those nasty little pictures on the cigarettes boxes. It doesn't stop anyone smoking, and this will not stop anybody cheating or having affairs or flirting or playing around. Yeah, I don't think that'll do anything. I think she's just trying to justify a really bad idea.
Yeah. Well, how can people find out more about what you're doing, get your opinion on all of their sex and relationship related questions?
Right. Well, they can go to dorothyblack.co.za. They can find me on Twitter at Dorothy Black, and I'm at Facebook at .black.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's always a pleasure having you
Thanks,
in the
Jen.
studio, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Yay, cool. Thanks a lot.
No problem.